So we're about to get nerdy here. So segment 1, if you want to pop up the segment 1 banner while I'm trying to find the page.
Done.
Is going to once again be part 4 of Astonishing Swordsmen Sorcerers of Hyperborea. And Heathen Dog is going to tell us all about the magic of the game system. And I'm going to sit here and nod my head and try to look, I don't know, pretty or something. Oh, what the hell is it?
It's on page 133, I think. No, 135.
Interesting. Okay, so they broke this book down the same way as that one. Got it.
Yeah.
135. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up.
Grimsar says we're going to have to ask Nora about that one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, what one?
About what you just said.
What did I say? I think I pay attention to the words that come out of my mouth.
Oh, sorry. Forgot about that. Okay, when you throw up spells, I'll start.
Yep, I'm just getting it sized right. We can still talk about it. So, well, one of the things about the spells is, again, anybody who has played 2nd edition AD&D or 1st edition.
This is going to seem very familiar.
Yep. Share screen. Boom, tab. Boom, share. There we go.
There it is. Okay, so spells. Now, we talked about spells a little bit when we were talking about the classes, how many they got, when they got them, how they learned them. This is just going to explain exactly all of the mechanics with the things that we touched on already. Now, every arcane caster, or actually no, every caster period, gets a certain number of spells at first level. Clerics and magicians, they get 3. Warlocks will get 1. Because they split their time between the martial arts as well. So let's just for the purposes of most discussion here, unless stated otherwise, let's just speak like it's magicians and clerics. So it's 3.
Easy, and they're the base core classes anyway.
Yeah.
I love how exacting it is with starting spells for everybody across the board.
Yep. Yeah. It takes a lot of the I don't know, question out of it. A lot of the.
How many times have you played a 2nd edition AD&D game where the wizard's like got a spell book with, say, I don't know, 10 spells in it, right? Mm-hmm. And the cleric, they just kind of hand the book to and say, okay, every spell on this page that's in your area of your sphere, you can cast it.
And then you're like, oh my God, now we got to wait 5 hours for this guy to pick a spell list every day.
Well, or not even that, just whatever you want. Just pick a spell. I run into that more than anything, believe it or not. That clerics get to just pick any spell that's within their sphere. They don't have to memorize, or they just have to spend the time in the morning to quote unquote fill up the spell slots. I have seen that in 30 some years of doing this more than any other system, including the actual right way you're supposed to do it.
Thought they had to pray.
Yeah, they're supposed to. Well, yeah, you pray to fill up the spells. But let's say I cast 2 first level spells yesterday. I would pray for 40 minutes and just, okay, I have those spell slots back. I can cast what I want. Maybe I want to heal. Maybe I want to, I can't remember all the cleric spells. And on top of that, clerics in 2nd edition were kind of OP because you could fight relatively well. You could cast any spell you wanted because they didn't run the game properly. And, anyway, go on. Sorry.
Okay. So starting spells, you get to choose from your spell list, whether you be magician, cleric, witch, warlock, whatever. You have a certain spell list that you choose from. And don't worry, we're gonna see that a little later. And you get to choose 3 spells. Now, of course, your game master has veto power. Like, no, I don't want anyone having that spell.
Do you have any like that?
Level. I don't. I don't.
I do.
It's a first level spell for a reason.
Oh,
it's not game breaking.
I'm not talking first level spells. I have a spell type that I don't allow in the game, and that's True Seeing. I never allow True Seeing.
Yeah, you never allow True Seeing. Yeah, that's why I can't play a lot of games with Max, because his home rules break games, in my opinion. But we're gonna move on from that. Now, what I don't like, and I never liked it. I understand the spellbook mechanic. I do. I get it. I do. I don't like it.
Okay.
Because a lot of games will heavily penalize a caster for losing a spellbook.
They should be.
Heavily penalized. And it costs a lot of money to copy a spell into your spellbook. And that thing is heavy. And you got to carry it around with you because you use this to memorize your spells every day.
Did you see the optional rule in here about spell pages? Dude, yes. I always use that in 2nd edition. Okay. Always.
I don't even use spell books in 2nd edition. So yeah, it's there. It doesn't, you have to have it, but I'm not going to screw with you with it. I'm not going to screw it.
Well,
It's
how do you?
just
Is
there.
this like the horse thing where the game master's just dick and always trying to take away your spell book? Or
It happens a
something?
lot more than you think. Yes.
Oh, well, I don't tend to do that. I only do it when a wizard, or care about when a wizard's higher level. And okay, you got like 17 spell books. You can't carry all those. Which ones are you taking? Well, this is my dungeon delving one. All right, there you go. Oh, this is my outside wilderness one. All right, cool. That's the only time I care about it, really.
Yeah. I don't even do that. All of your spells will fit in your spell book. It's goddamn magic spell book. It's got infinite pages. It weighs 2 pounds. Fuck this game. That's what I do. All right, and it takes a lot of hassle out of it. And it if you do it this way, it nerfs magicians compared to clerics. But in this game, they fix that. They put the same lodestone around a cleric's neck, because a cleric also has to have his holy tomes and writings and stuff to be able to do his spells as well. Ravensor says, "Oh, a bag of holding or wonderful magical spellbook library." Yes, that's what I do. It's a bag of holding pages.
But a bag of well, a bag of holding only holds so much anyway. It'll hold a few spell books, but a simple bag of holding actually doesn't hold as much as people think.
Well, this book of holding holds infinite pages. All right, now the spell book page count, that's what Max likes. Each spell, depending on its level, takes up a certain number of pages in your book. And each of these pages costs like 100 gold pieces per page or something, just to write it down. So getting a new spell, like, oh, I gained a new level, but I can't learn a new spell, even though it says I can automatically, because I got to spend money. I got to spend money for like goat semen, dragon blood.
What?
Yeah, goat semen mixed with dragon blood.
Ew.
To scribe it on this $1,000 parchment here before I can actually memorize it. Dick. Whatever.
Well, that's where the goat semen came from.
Yeah, I lose all this. I lose all these rules. They're dumb. Now, acquiring new spells. Now,
wait. When you said dumb, no,
I said dumb.
No,
they're dumb. It's dumb.
They add. How do I say this?
Don't say flavor.
No, they add immersion to playing the wizard. You shouldn't. I don't know. Other games have it set up, like Earth Dawn, for example. Although they have a grimoire rule. Yeah. Where you just memorize, you look at the spell one time, you got it, you can throw the book away. I kind of understand the argument there.
Well, you wouldn't throw the book away because it's a threat. It's magically tied to you. Yeah,
you're right. It is a threat.
You keep it safe, but you don't got to lug it around with you everywhere you go.
Right.
I like that.
But here it is your spell formula. It is it's your notebook. It's everything. It's your fire trap spell that you have in between each of the spells, so that when somebody flips a page, they get blasted in the face ball. I don't know. I see no reason not to do it. I enjoy it when I play a wizard to know how many spells I have left, to say, oh crap, now I'm gonna have to spend more money on another book. Or let's go one step further in D&D, the traveling spell book versus the full spell book. I like that.
All spell books, traveling spell books. Okay. So acquiring new spells. Every level you get more spells. Like I said, we're just going with the base class here. So magician and cleric, they get how many spells? It's like 3 every level, and you can choose.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, every spell or every level they get 1 extra, but
one
first
extra.
level get 3.
There you go. First level you get 3, but every level after that you get 1 for free. You don't got to roll for it. You don't got to. Oh, did I learn it? Did I successfully read it off of some magic tablet somewhere? No, you just get it. This is your OJT, your real world experience has taught you this spell. You physically learn this spell through trial and error. You have it now. Good on you. Good on you. Hope you got the 1,000 gold pieces it takes to put it in that fucking book. Whatever. But you get to choose what spell. It doesn't have to be second level. If you wanted another first level spell, you could choose that as your first level spell. You can't choose a level you can't cast yet, but any level you can cast, you can choose that as your freebie spell. Great. Awesome. Now, that is automatic spell development, where you get that every level, you get the 1, you choose it, you just got it, no rolls. Now, clerics and magicians have the ability to do independent research. Not all spellcasters do. But independent research is you spend however many days researching a spell dependent on the spell level, and then you get to roll. at that point. You get to roll chance to learn new spell. Now,
which is based on your intelligence.
Yeah, based on your intelligence. Now, you have to spend money for materials. You have to spend time in days, depending on the level of this. Both are dependent on the level of the spell. So you have to have the money to have the materials to test with, and you have to have the time to spend in testing with those materials.
For me, this is great downtime stuff. When the warriors like, I got to go train or I got to heal or whatever.
Exactly.
The wizard's like, all right, I'll be over there.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there's always downtime in between adventures. In between adventures, this is when
not in 5th edition D&D.
Well, fuck that game. This is where you get stuff done. This is where you if you are high enough level and you have a stronghold, this is where you have to maintain that stronghold. This is where you have to hire new people, where you have to look over your villagers, make sure they're doing okay. You know, it's not something exciting. This is all management stuff that has to be done. And the wizard can do this thing while all of that is happening. Because managing your stronghold and the town that you are sovereign over, that takes at least 30 days. To get it done right. Well, during that 30 days, the magician can research a spell, and at the end of the
magician has a stronghold too.
It's well, yes, but I'm just saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So at the end of that time, number of days and number of gold coins, depending on your level of spell, you roll the magician's chance to learn a new spell, or the cleric's chance to learn a spell. His is based on wisdom, and the magician's is based on intelligence. Whether you succeed or not, that time and that money is gone.
Yep, it's
gone. You spent it. You can't get time back, and you burned up all the incense that you bought with that money, so it's over. You know, for an extra 500 gold per level, a magician can increase his chance by 5%. If you're 5%. If you're Captain Moneybags, you drop down 50 grand, you're basically guaranteed, you know, as long as you're not an idiot, you're guaranteed to learn that spell. Awesome. That's great, right? But if you fail to learn that spell, you cannot learn that specific spell again for a year, or until you gain another level, whichever comes first.
And when you're already considering that there's 30 days of downtime there, that year isn't going to just be right around the corner.
Exactly. You got to adventure again, and that's going to be real world time months, maybe till you have more downtime. So there you go. Now, copying spells. If you get someone else's spell book by hook or by crook or by whatever, and they are of the same class as you, because if a magician gets a witch's spell book, that thing may as well be Swahili, as far as you're concerned. You don't understand that crap.
Well, and a lot of the spells are just so different anyway.
You can't learn exactly. There is no changing it over. There is no translating it into something you understand. You just got to find another magician spellbook. If you do, you can copy a spell. If you successfully read magic, you can copy the spell as long as you have all of the coin for the aforementioned goat semen dragon blood to write into your book. Then you roll your magician's chance to learn. And if you succeed, Bob's your uncle. You got a new spell. Good job. Whether you stole or not.
You might be getting into this, and pardon me if I'm jumping ahead, but you can copy from, say, a pyromancer spell book if you're a wizard, or I'm sorry, not wizard, I was thinking a witch or warlock, as long as that spell is also one you can cast, but it comes at a penalty.
Yep. It says here, the magician cannot copy a spell he does not understand. Neither can he add spells to a spell book that are of higher level than his.
So if it's a 3rd level witch spell, but a 4th level pyromancer spell, and you're a pyromancer who can only cast 3rd level spells, that might be one you can cast, and it's of your level if you're a witch. Sorry, but yep, you got to wait.
Yep. Appropriating a new spell book. One of the most convenient means by which a magician may build his spell repertoire is through the acquisition of spell books, usually seized during the course of adventure. First, each spell must be reviewed for comprehension by using your read magic. This analysis requires 15 minutes per spell level. Next, you must make a magician's chance to learn new spell to whether he understands the spell or not. Material and monetary costs are negligible. The time required to learn each spell is 1 day per spell level. If a newly required spell book is used as a resource for copying spells in an existing book, refer to copying spells. Now, the same thing goes with a cleric. He finds holy text that he was otherwise ignorant to, and he's like, oh, wow, this calls upon the god to make my penis bigger. I want that spell. And so he copies it into his holy text, as long as they're of the same faith. As long as they're of the same faith, then he can go ahead and do that. That's great. That's fine.
There's a big drawback.
There's a big drawback.
The
The cleric risks suffering a curse, madness, or loss of sorcerer's endowment if the prayer book derives from the whose faith does not accord with his own. That means, if you're a follower of Cthulhu and you find a spell book of Apollo, and it's like, oh shit, this is Apollo's book, but man, I really want that penis engorging spell, so I want to copy that in my book. Cthulhu's like, whoa, what you think I can't make your thing bigger? And gets pissed off that you're all, heathenizing over here. So he, smites you down or strikes you out or something.
And say, I'm probably going to be more okay with the way Apollo would do it
than Cthulhu. Cthulhu would do it. Fair enough.
It might be bigger, but it's going to have.
It's also going to have teeth and tendrils and you eat souls and stuff. So yeah, probably don't want that. So there is a chance of 50. Looks like 50-50 that your god is going to be pissed off at you for going around his helmet or whatever. See, there's more penis things. Okay. Using a
theme for today.
There you go. Using a scroll. You could also use a scroll. You research a spell using the scroll and copy it into your book. Now, scrolls are considered single-use magical devices. So that means you're transferring a single-use thing into a more permanent thing. And you can be used to it. Researches the spell cost. It brings down the spell cost by half. Mm-hmm. So instead of 500 gold pieces per spell level, it's down to 250.
I get arguments into arguments. My God, English, this is gonna be fun. Yeah. With people a lot with regard to this, like, why the spell just works? Why can't I just copy what's on the scroll? I think this game actually goes into it probably the most succinctly, but bestly defined. Yeah, I'm making up words today. Yep. Methodology
most clearly defined.
Yes, in the fact that when you create a scroll, you're making it with that that dragon semen and goat blood, or I'm sorry, the other way around. Whatever.
Yep.
You're making it with that, so a lot of the magical energy has already been empowered into the text itself, and you're just kind of calling it out. Yeah, that's a trope. It's it's not scientific, but fucking balls, it's magic. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, those have to be.
So this a lot of the spell power is already there. You're just pulling it out. But man, if I just don't have people arguing all the time, well, that's stupid. The spell's right here. It's I should just be able to transfer it right over.
No,
you can transfer it right over, but it's just going to be words, and it's never going to work for you.
Well, no. I mean, it's worse than that. If you transfer a scroll spell directly to your book, I would say 100% chance, as long as you can read and write it. 100% chance. The only problem is the first time you memorize it, that page is going to burn away, because that spell is written to empower to use the magic that you place in the page. That's why it's one use. It burns itself out, activating the magic. I'll say, yeah, sure. You could do that. It'll just burn your book away. You want to do that? Or do you want to research how to change it into a safer, more permanent format?
At half the cost of a normal.
Yeah, you get half the cost because half the work is done. The other half is making sure it's not volatile and more than single use, and that takes time and a little bit of money. Now, you've learned your spells. You've got them. You've learned them. You've researched them. You've copied from other books that you've purloined, and you found some scrolls and you changed it over, put them in your book. That's great. Now, how do you use them? Well, there's a couple of ways. First one, and the most safest, normal, is spell memorization. Sorcerers and clerics memorize spells in pretty much the same way. I mean, the same mechanic, not the same way. A magician will, memorize over his books over a period of time, whereas the cleric will pray for a number of minutes or hours equal to whatever the spell level is. That's fine.
I've got to reiterate that one of the things I really, really like about this game is the fact that I'm thinking just of a first level character. Mm-hmm. That wizard has 3 spells. That cleric has 3 spells. I don't know why, but like I said, I've just for so many years, all through my Air Force career, blah, 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 I've never had to memorize a spell as a cleric. It's one of the reasons why I play them all the time, because people just like to give cleric stuff. Oh,
do them wrong.
Yeah, well, right. Is the fact that not only do you not get every spell on the list available to you, which is in the rules, just you have to memorize whichever one you want, mm-hmm. You only have 3. There could be 100 spells. You've got 3. God has only determined that you are worthy of 3 at this point in time, and now you can memorize 1. Pick the right one.
Have fun. Hope you do well.
Part of that, when I was playing first edition, a guy used to tell me, well, part of that is the wisdom of knowing what spells you need throughout the day. And if you don't pick the right ones, God isn't going to be nice to you about it. He's going to say, well, I hope you learned your lesson. You're supposed to have the wisdom to choose correctly.
Good on you. All right. So how do you memorize a spell? Well, like I said, if you're a magician, you pour over your spellbook text. You burn these images and incantations into your memory for that day. And Bob's your uncle. You get to cast that spell once per slot you burned to actually, hold those spells. And for a cleric, you pray to your deity. Your deity will grant you that ability during this day. Good on you. All right. Now you get a number of spells that you can memorize per level depending on your level. Great.
And there comes a point when you're high level, and again, you're supposed to do this in earlier editions, but I see game masters kind of cheat on this, where it's like you just you're 9th, 10th level, you blew away like 4 first level spells, 3 second level. You might have like 1 spell or 2 spells left, and you got 3 third level spells, that you knocked out. You're like, oh God, I'm all brain foogled and so forth. Oh, just take an hour and get them all back. I want to get the adventure going. Fuck that.
No, in this game, you got once a day. Once a day, you choose your stuff, you get it squared away for another 24 hours. That's what you got. Mm-hmm. You shoot all the bullets in your gun. Sorry, man.
And if you only have an hour in the morning to study because you guys have to get back on the road and go, well, maybe you get 2 third level spells. Maybe you get a couple first, couple second. You might not get them all back.
Yeah, you might not get them all because they don't have time, or you don't have time, or they're in a rush, or you have to be in a rush because you have to get here at a certain time to meet your contact or whatever. You don't got time for that nonsense.
And I know the people who do the more later editions of the game where you start with 75 spells and can cast them 45 times a day. They don't understand this, but I miss the days of having 1 or 2 spells. And even when you leveled up a little bit more, you might not have a full repertoire available to you simply because, as we're talking about here, and the game master didn't go, oh, just you got your spells back. Let's just go. No, just pick the spells you want. Let's just go. No, they said, oh, you better pick which ones you need. You only get 2. You only have time for memorizing 2. Well, pick 2 good ones, I hope.
There you go. Now, there is another option that they give besides using a scroll, to just recite the scroll and the scroll burns itself up and the spell works. You can cast from your book. This is extremely stupid.
Not as stupid as raw magic in another game.
I don't know. It's close, man.
It's close. Yeah.
It's close because there is a 10% chance that that spell page burns away. It acts like a scroll and it just burns away and you lose it. And all those hundreds of gold pieces it took to put that in your book, it's now gone along with that page, which costs another 100 gold pieces because it's made of, I don't know, unicorn sack. I don't know, whatever. I hate spellbooks, but but not only that, there is a chance that your whole book just starts lighting on fire. The page before and after is also destroyed. What?
Well, what? Powerful magic.
Powerful magic. Shut the
Hey, there's a 2%.
2% what?
2% chances that the entire spell book will be destroyed.
Yeah, poof. You just lost. You just lost your whole life. And right. If you're smart and you cast from your book and your entire book burned away, kill yourself, start over. Kill yourself, start over. That's the only option at this point. The only option. You're done. You're done. Everyone says, why you kill yourself? You could just rewrite the book. You want to give me the 128,000 gold pieces I'll need to oh wait, no, I can't because I now I don't have them in my book. I can't memorize them and I can't write them down because you either have to learn it. Oh no, wait, no. Any spell that he got through leveling, maybe the game master will allow him to rewrite that into his book. But any spell he got through somebody else's book or copying down a scroll is just gone.
One of the things I did during my downtime when I was playing D&D is I would actually spend some of my downtime copying spells over into another book in case something happened to this one. But
that's another 128,000 gold pieces you need.
Sure. True. Well, not that much, but yeah. the thing is,
depending on your level.
I never played with GMs that fucked with a spell book, but much. I mean, not that I can remember off the top of my head. Something tells me that has happened, but I've never really dealt with one that was like, "Oh, you're missing your spell book," unless it was the dumbass thief in the party trying to be a dick and planning it on the you know. But that's party bullshit.
Yeah,
I've never had a game master burn away my spell book. The only time I've ever lost one that I remember off the top of my head was I had a choice: run with the idol in my hand that we needed, or run with my spellbook in my hand that we needed, and I chose the idol. That was it's the only time that I ever had that issue that I remember.
Yeah, but it's here. It's here in the thing where the game master can plow you dry whenever he wants to with this stupid spellbook.
Well, I would say, just like the horse thing, I would say that any game master does that is a bad game master.
Yeah. So now that you know your spell, you've memorized your spell. Now we're going to go into casting. All right. Once you memorize it, you have to cast it. Now, for a magician, it's a little harder than for a cleric. A magician, almost every single spell has both verbal and somatic components. You have to be able to speak and articulate with your hands to make a spell
And as a
happen.
side note, that is reflected when we start talking about combat next week. That is absolutely reflected in how the combat phases work.
Yes. Yes, it is. Now, if you don't have both your hands free, you can't cast a spell. If you're gagged, you can't cast a spell. But let's just say none of those things are true. Your hands are free. Your mouth is free. You cast a spell. Awesome sauce. Let's go. Let's see. If the caster is struck before the spell goes off, that means you're hit before your initiative happens. The spell's gone. It's disrupted.
Just like first and second edition.
It's just it's just gone. Mm-hmm. No, it's not just like, oh, it didn't go off.
No,
you burned
it.
You burned it.
You burned the power of it.
Yeah,
yes.
That memorization is gone. You can't try it again. It just failed. You flubbed it. Now, there is a concentration check.
Optional.
It is an optional rule. I personally would make this in my game absolutely because that is too much of a detriment to a spellcaster, because a single point of damage, you lose a spell.
Well, and that's the way it is in both first and second edition AD&D. And a lot of people don't do that, but it's one of the most why when third edition came out and things changed, where they had that concentration check, because almost every game master house ruled that thing to say, okay, you took 8 points of damage, roll an 8 or higher on a d20 or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Always I house ruled it.
Yeah.
I like the concentration check rule.
Yeah, and with this concentration check, it's based on your intelligence. If you let's say you take 4 points of damage, all right, you roll a 3d6, add that 4 points. If that roll is higher than your intelligence score, you lose the spell. If it's lower, you're able to keep your concentration, and the spell now can still go off on your initiative. Now, personally, I wouldn't choose intelligence for this. I would choose Constitution. The reason being is because you really can't think yourself out of a stab wound.
Yeah, but I can.
No, hang on. No, wisdom is not better.
It's willpower.
Yeah, nope, not better. The reason being, nope, stop. Let me finish.
Oh.
Okay, you're concentrating on the spell. You are not concentrating on stopping, like mind over matter over the pain thing. No, your brain is fully focused on this spell. Your willpower is fully focused on this spell. It's your body that has to withstand the pain. You just have to get tough. You just have to be tough to just bear this pain while your brain is doing other shit. So I would base it off Constitution.
But everything you just said, there's a purview of wisdom, because wisdom is willpower.
No.
It absolutely is.
No. I completely disagree with your false statement.
Okay.
All right, there you go. You just have to tough it out. You just have to get tough and be tough. Like, oh no, the Constitution is not a mage's trait. No, man, because unless you are a warlock who is also trained in martial combat, you were not trained to withstand pain as a magician. You were not.
Now, in terms of just direct rules, I wouldn't change it away from intelligence because as a wizard, your whole focus is intelligence. So for game mechanics, I don't like. Although I would say that Constitution would be second to willpower or wisdom because that's actually what that is. Go read it.
You like being wrong, but okay. All right,
I'm not wrong. Read it.
Ravenslayer agrees with me, so you're done.
Ravenslayer can agree with whatever he wants. Like two people can be wrong about the same thing.
But as it so happens, they aren't. So there you go.
But I wouldn't. Well, first of all, I wouldn't change the Constitution at all. Although I do get why you say that. I would keep it at intelligence because the whole wizard's entire shtick is intelligence.
It is.
If you start throwing in all these different, I mean, you don't go to the warrior and say you have to make an intelligence check for this. You always just base it on one of his natural stats, which in this game is 3 of them: strength, dexterity, or Constitution. So let the character play to its strengths. To me, it's part of, I don't want to say it's real, but it's part of what this game system is meant to be.
I understand why they chose intelligence, and it makes logical sense because you don't want to. Well, I don't want to say you don't want to hamstring the magician for now he has to have a high con. No, he doesn't have to have a high con. What he has to do is not get hit, not be a dumbass, and get stabbed in combat. Number one, and if he's too stupid to not be able to do that, then well, you just got to roll really well. And
the biggest problem with
that
I see, and people do this a lot in 5th edition, and we used to snicker when we did it in 1st and 2nd edition, is they just go right after. Okay, that must be the healer because he's wearing a dress, or he's got the holy symbol out. Attack that one first, like it's a video game. Well, when in reality, you mash pretty much the first person that comes to you. Most people don't see Chuck Norris running at him, and then go, "I'll get back to you later. Hold on,"
No, I get that, and that's where attacks of opportunity. That's the only time I like them. If you are running by someone who is obviously prepared to strike you, and you are completely ignoring them to strike someone else who you think is a more high value target, this guy's gonna go, what the stab? What are you gonna do about it? Nothing, because you're focusing your entire attention on someone else who's beyond this person. So you should be stabbed for making this tactical decision. You opened yourself up to an attack. I get it. That's fine. And I would do that a lot to people who automatically go after the caster with trying to close the distance through the fighter to get into melee range with a caster. Okay, you're gonna get smacked. You're gonna get smacked by the fighter who's gonna go, you're funny, and beat you down.
That's the way it should be. But you know how people whine.
Yeah, but
that's one of the reasons why I don't like maps. And let me rephrase that. I don't like battle grids.
There you go.
Because I move exactly this far. Shut up. Combat is a scrum.
A wang jangle. It's a wang jangle.
It's a wang jangle. There you go. It's a wang jangle or a scrum. It's dirty. It's not clean. It's chaotic. One of the things we'll talk about in segment 2, I'm going to kind of get into that talks about that a little bit. But this whole clean fighting that they started doing with 3rd edition and now with 5th edition, where it's like, I move this far. And like you talked about attacks of opportunity. I want to take an attack of opportunity on them. Well, are you in range? Well, I moved here. I prefer the whole thing of like, look, you got close, but not exactly where you wanted to be. Maybe you can make an attack of opportunity if you lunge forward, move this way, but I don't want to move. Well, then you don't get an attack of opportunity. It's not this, I take a 5-foot fall and I can do. How do you know what the fuck 5 feet is when you're in the middle of a chaos?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, Ravenslayer said you don't even need to get in a melee range if you have a kobold with a dart or a goddamn thief with a throwing knife. Yeah. And you take that 1 point of damage from that kobold and his sissy ass dart, and suddenly you lose your fireball. Fuck you. No.
But here's my caveat to that. Kobolds aren't that smart.
Go after the guy with the dress. They're just smart enough for that.
They'd have to be told. Yeah. Kobolds run around and yip and just attack whatever moves. I'm not saying that they're so stupid that they can't think tactically at all, but unless that caster throws something at them first, or something higher, say a drow or an evil wizard or ogre magi or something like that, says,
I can see that.
But just coming out of the caves, especially low level. Now, again, higher level games where they're like 5th, 6th level, and you want to do that to the caster, sure, because you're kind of fighting more
experienced people. Yeah, experienced opponents, right.
Even if they're not your level, somebody's still going to throw, there might be 30 of them. Somebody's going to throw the dart at you still. When I'm thinking on straight low levels right here, and you got like, 3 orcs, a goblin, and some other monster you can't identify, and all of a sudden they're mysteriously going after just the cleric and the wizard. I have a problem with that.
Yeah. Unless they have some higher order monster or a controller of some kind going, that guy right there, the guy in the dress.
And you know what? Turnabout's fair play on that one. Who do you go after?
You know what? I always played magic users in Dungeons & Dragons. I never wore a robe ever because of that. I didn't.
Yeah. To me, it depended on the world. It
No.
depended on the world that we're like in Dragonlance. You have to.
Yeah. You have to wear robes. That's just the way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different thing because I'm just
That's
thinking other
different
things
thing, right.
that I've done where it's like
this is purely cosmetic. Yeah. In most games, the fact that if you want to wear pants doesn't negate your spell ability.
Right.
And even in Dragonlance, wearing pants doesn't negate your spell ability. It just could get you murdered.
Yeah, it just makes you an outcast.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever. But yeah, this whole Constitution check, I'm fully on board with it. I don't like the idea that a single point of damage done a millisecond before you finish casting a spell can ruin a 9th level spell.
I agree with you on that. I like the system that he has here too. It's not a weird D20 roll. It's 3d6. I know some people are like, my God, I have to roll D6 for that, D20 for that. I like that. I have a set of dice. I want to use all of them.
There you go.
I don't like D20s for everything.
Spectrefire says pants are overrated. Max probably isn't wearing any currently. I'm wearing pajama pants.
I'm wearing shorts.
He's wearing shorts. Okay, now armor. Yes. Unlike in a lot of other games, a mage can wear whatever the hell armor he wants.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Oh, I want to wear full plate mail. Okay. That's great. There's rules for that.
And it doesn't make it like a 99% failure chance either.
No. It's 50-50 for heavy armor. 50-50
for the
shot.
Heaviest armor type.
Yes. Full plate, the whole shebang with a goddamn kite shield, whatever you want. You can do it. You can do it, baby.
You can't use the kite shield. You can only use the buckler. Cannot
cast
with a shield higher than
you
a
have
buckler.
You have to actually stick that kite shield in the ground and hide behind it while you cast your spell. That's fine too. That's fine. You can do that because you have to have your hands free. But you can cast whatever spell you want in whatever armor you want. You just have an armor failure chance. Light armor, it's 1 in 6. Medium armor, it's 1 in 3. Heavy armor, it's 50-50.
Now, so many people complain about this. Stupid. Why can't I cast an armor? Blah,
you can.
Blah.
You can.
Well, first of all, you can cast an armor. Why do you have this chance of failure? Well, first of all, they I don't want to say it's cheap, but the generic old school traditional methodology is the fact that it interferes with your movement. Well, I've worn chainmail at Renfest before, and I know that I can move around pretty well. Look,
nope, sorry.
Here's
spell casting is very meticulous and deliberate. If you have trained for your entire life as a magician, casting a spell in a certain way, adding 40 pounds of armor to your back is going to change the way your arms and hands move. I'm sorry.
But also remember this. Sometimes rules are put into the game to maintain a trope, to maintain a concept that's been around. You don't have to like it, like the grimoire or the spell book. Wizards are noticed going through their spell books and so on and so forth. It is part of who they are. Now, it doesn't mean you have to have a cone hat, but whether it's wearing a robe or not casting with armor on this case, whatever it happens to be, it keeps the trope. And to me, I like that. I don't like rules because I like people to be able to do what they want to do. But if you do that, if you allow anybody to do whatever they want, then it doesn't even look right. You're going to have everybody wearing plate mail armor, like throwing fireballs everywhere. It's going to be like Asheron's Call. So, and personally, I don't like that. I like maintaining the tropes. Also, one last thing on that is it's a class-based game. It's not a skill-based game. So in a class-based game, you already are locked into a box. Well, this just ensures you stay in that box.
Yes.
You have a big box, but it is a box.
Yes. You chose this lane, stick to it.
Right.
That's basically it. Okay, now shields. Like what Max was saying earlier, anything above a small shield, you have to let go. But a buckler or I think it even says a small shield, which is a buckler, may be carried, but you have to move it up your arm to free your hand. No matter what, you do not get the benefit of that shield while you are casting.
If you're a sorcerer, yes.
If you are a mage or a cleric, while you are casting, while you're doing the gesticulations of casting a spell, you do not gain benefit from that shield, even if it's still on your arm, because you've moved it out of position. just to be able to cast. But immediately before and immediately after, the benefit now reappears. So having a small shield is a good idea for a magician. It's a good idea. I mean, hey man, it's a free armor class, right? It's fine.
So
I like it.
Real quickly, a couple comments here. Mar Hockman, that's not a D. This is a D&D type game, and then D&D keeps its certain tropes. You don't see what's his name, Gandalf. That's Middle Earth, but that's what D&D is based off. You don't see him wearing armor. You don't see Saruman wearing armor. They don't need to. They use the magic as their armor. So Kingdoms of Amalur, yeah, I played that game. I have a whole complete stream of it, 70 some episodes. You are right, but that's also not maintaining this trope. In Earth Dawn, you can wear armor. The problem with it, what the hell does it do in Earth Dawn? Oh my God, I forgot. God, I completely forgot what armor does in Earth Dawn to magic. But there is a drawback to it. Maybe it's initiative or the fact you can't wear it because it's heavy and so forth. I can't believe I've brain farted that one. Anyway, here I've seen it written up to be, well, the energy can't course through the metal and so forth. I don't care what the rationale that somebody writes for it. It's maintaining the trope. I accept it. All of the above. It's you can't move your fingers in the right position because you're not wearing the gauntlets, or the energy won't come through because you're wearing metal and it's not natural. Or like I said, I don't care what trope you want to put in your game or all of the above. As long as it maintains the trope, I'm cool with it. And I think that this is a very good balance right here. You can wear chainmail, but 33% of the time,
your spell's just going to fail and you're going to lose it.
Yep, and you already see how long it takes to learn a spell.
Yeah.
How many you get, you might not be okay with that. And then Raven's Lair, in this game, it doesn't go that deep into all the different types of shield. It's pretty much just small. Is it small, medium, large, or just small and large?
Yeah, it's small, medium, and large. I believe those.
Small, medium, okay.
Small, medium, and large. So any small shield. The rules say small shield. Doesn't have to be a buckler, but any shield that this game classifies as small. Any kind of caster can use and not have to put it down, but it will not help him during the casting of his spell.
Yep.
It will help immediately before and immediately after and every time in between, but not while he is actually using it. Now, clerics have it easier. I said earlier.
Yep.
I said earlier, because most of cleric spells are verbal only. They don't require manual hand movements or arm movements or leg movements or whatever. So they can hold on to a shield, hold on to a weapon, and cast with just like, oh, the power of Jesus compels you or whatever, and boom.
That's turning. That's not
whatever
spellcasting.
Whatever. They could just do it and still have the benefit of their shield, because they didn't need to use their hands for anything else. They can use their hands for defense with the shield.
The power of Cthulhu.
Power of Cthulhu compels you. Oh God, I'm insane. There you go. That's what happened. That's what happened. Now, after this, it's just spell definitions. All right. And these are normal. The level of spell, the level of the spell and the level of each particular class that can cast it, the range of the spell, how far away it affects or how far away the effect starts.
I don't know why, but this is always upsetting to me, this range of 0. Just say self.
No, touch.
No, the touch is here. Yeah. That's for touch, but for a spell that only affects the caster, I don't know. And a lot of games do this. They do self, touch, and then distance. I don't understand why it has to be 0.
I don't understand that either.
I'm not confused by it, but it's just
I don't
like it.
It is possible that there is a spell in this game that increases the range, adds yards or feet or whatever to the range, and if it starts with a 0, it can be added upon. If it just says self,
that is the case, I will take it back. But I haven't looked at every spell in the game.
I haven't looked at every spell in this game.
I will take that back.
Yeah, but if it just says self, that's not a distance, so you can't add to it. So maybe that's true, or you can make that spell, I guess. And then the duration of the spell, how long the spell lasts, and the area of effect. How big, and then the components you require to successfully cast the spell, because the magic has to come from somewhere. Part of it comes from you. Other parts will be sacrificing the unicorn penis or whatever.
So I want to stop on components for just a moment. Going back to Dick DMs.
Okay. Yeah, I usually don't use components in AD&D.
I do, because I want to keep spellcasting. See, I like lower magic worlds. I don't like crazy high fantasy. I always like magic to be something crazy. I actually like Forbidden Lands, where it's like you roll a 66, so 2 6s on a 66. A demon comes through a portal, grabs you, pulls you to his plane, you're dead. or the DCC version of it. I like Magic to come with power, but some drawbacks. Now, with that said, I do like components, but I don't like it when they make you micromanage every little nut and berry that you have.
It's really hard to just walk that line, though. It really is.
It is.
In practice, it almost never works.
Well, no, I agree. What I tend to do is I tend to say, okay, first level spells cost about this, but we'll just say 10 gold for this game. I haven't looked at the gold in this game to see if that's right or wrong, but okay, for every 10 gold you got spell components for a spell, or maybe 3 gold or whatever it happens to be, right? It just, and every spell level differently. Caveat being things that are obviously expensive, like was it Identify needed a pearl or some crap like that? Or, if a spell needs something really weird, or if it's not used up, like the Rod and Amber from a lightning bolt.
Okay, no, you're right. You're right. For the spells that actually say you also need a gem worth whatever for like Trap the Soul, I use those. For those high level super spells that, no, man, you actually need that unicorn penis because it's integral to the casting of the spell. It's not some like, oh, I got to spend 300 gold pieces on various sundries and nonsense and have that in my pocket at all times. No, you need to trap someone's soul in this gem. So you're going to need that gem. Okay. Great.
Well, I do the sundries, but I make it more generic. I don't like, okay, I want to get a vial of nuts. I need to go get 4 berries. I need to go get some snake pea.
Yeah, and if you're in the desert, you're SOL. You're just not casting that spell because, find some good berries in a desert. Have fun. Yeah,
right,
I'll wait here.
No, I let them get the components for most of it, unless there's some sort of story hook. But I do want them to account for, well, how many first level spells do you have for this? How many, because you can run out, be like, crap.
That's the way that Dungeons and Dragons Online does it. They have first level spell components, second level spell components. They're generic components that you buy. Every time you cast a first level spell, you go through one sack of components.
I honestly didn't know this. So I agree with DDO for something. You still have to get them, but I do make them generic with the exception of this. And I do have you mark them off. If you cast that first level spell and it requires a component, let's say it says, and I'm not looking at spells, but let's say that glow moss that Marhawkman put on there, which an Earth on would be kind of common, but D&D isn't so much. Okay, just mark off that you've used first level component. So the next one says, I need a dirt clod. Okay, mark off that you used a first level spell component. I don't care what it says.
As long as you have the sack of first level components, you're fine.
Exactly. And then once you're out of that sack of first level components,
well, then you got to buy some more sack of first level components.
In theory, you could scout. Would you know what? Go on.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the components.
So damn technical.
There's the components. Now then you go into the spell list. Now we're going to look at the magician spell list for level 1. And luckily they're all numbered. Go to the very bottom and you see they have 33 first level spells. This is where being a magician versus being a witch is better. It's the only time it's better, especially in Schlow's game, because they won't get that familiar first level.
Not to start.
Yeah.
Well, not to start if it's your first character ever.
But
once you have experience with the game,
after first level, the utility of it drops off drastically. So after that,
no, hold on. I'm not saying you can't have it at first level. I'm saying you can't have it when you just start the game.
Okay.
You can get it at first level. Absolutely. Why not? There's one spell here that's missing that I love the fact that it's missing.
What's that?
It'd be in between these two.
In between these two what?
23 and 24. Between Read Magic. Because you automatically, it's a class ability.
It's a class ability. Thank
God.
Yes. All everybody gets to read magic if you are trained in magic. Of course, you're going to be trained to read it as well. Don't be stupid. It's dumb. Now, if you look at the next spell list, it's the Cryomancer.
I do snowflakes.
Yes, it's stupid. 18 first level spells. 18. The next one is Illusionist. 23.
I'd play Cryomancer.
Next one is Necromancer. 19. Next one is Pyromancer, 17. Next one is Witch, 27. Very, very close.
You still only get 3 at first level, though.
Yeah, but you get the magician gets the widest variety.
Yes.
Of all spells, really, all levels. Gets the widest variety. The more you specialize, the narrower your scope becomes.
Come on, they changed Tasha's uncontrollable hideous laughter to ungovernable hideous laughter. Boo.
Oh, come on.
I know it can't be. I know it can't be Tasha's, but geez.
It can be Frank's.
Frank's ungovernable.
Now, here's what I don't understand. Are there just much less cleric spells than magic spells? Because if you look on the clerical spell list, table 69, the generic cleric, only has 19 to choose from.
I do not know the philosophy he used to make this game.
I don't know.
But based on a little bit that I have read, I feel, and pardon me if Mr. Jeffrey Talanian ever watches this for speaking for you, but I feel that what he did was he picked the most used, most common, most iconic ones and got rid of the ones that were quirky. That's the way I felt. Now, again, I have not memorized the spell list to see which one could be considered quirky or not, but I have looked it over. That's kind of the way I felt, that all of these are just kind of the normal. Like this one isn't even in the player's handbook. This comes from, is it the cleric's handbook or is it the, crap, it comes from something after the player's handbook, the cure moderate wounds, but it's one of my favorite spells. So, I mean, he obviously has knowledge of the game,
right?
Of the original D&D game. And I just really think that he pulled out the ones that are, okay, yeah, that sounds great, but that's quirky, that's weirdness. If you do that, it's going to work in one situation, or it's overpowered because, you know, once you have it, you can just do this constantly. What I don't know. I again, not trying to speak for him.
Okay. Cranso says, for some reason, the illusionist does not get the identity spell. Well, then let's scroll to identity.
Oh, you go all the way to...
Well, they're in alphabetical order. See, this is I don't like the way the spells are put together. I like it when they are in alphabetical order by spell level. See, I like it there, but it doesn't work for this.
You are in the minority on that one. I agree with you, but but we're in the minority on that one. People don't actually like that.
Yeah, I do, but you know,
it'd also be kind of difficult considering, like, well, this one's the same 3 and 3, but some of these are 2, 2, 2. Well, they're actually, some of them are different levels.
Identify. There is no identity spell.
Maybe he meant
identify. I get because, you know, it's more of a knowledge thing. It's not illusionary. It's not an illusion thing.
Identify. Well, let's see.
Identify. Yeah, he doesn't get it. The ritual requires
the only one that doesn't too.
Yeah. That's page 185. Yeah, okay. This ritual requires 6 turns or an hour to cast in a peaceful environment. And blah, blah, blah. Spell enables a caster to perceive the magical properties of one magic item per casting ability level. Each item requiring 1 turn to properly identify. Illusionists apparently do not get to identify magical items. I wonder why. Why are they special and the pyromancer, or can do it, but the illusionist can't? I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I can't answer that, although
I don't know.
Just knowing that doesn't bother me. Okay, so the illusionist, I don't know, I kind of feel like the illusionist spends time worrying about making things that are fake out there, doing, firework displays and so on and so forth.
Okay, no, I get it, because the identify spell, its sole reason is to find truth. Whereas an illusionist's sole reason to cast spells is to obscure truth.
That's Earth Dawn, but go on.
But hey, it fits, right? I mean,
right, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel a DM could, referee in this game could verbalize it however he wants. I would go with that trope because, again, I like Earth Dawn, and I like how Earth Dawn limits things based on that kind of ideology. So
right, but they are the only one that specialize in things that are not true. Whereas the identify spell, its sole purpose is to find truth.
I mean, to be fair, the warlock can't do it either, but.
Well, the warlock, he's busy with his sword and his shield and whatever. He doesn't have time to devote to this nonsense. He just if the fireball spell doesn't work, he'll just stab you. Doesn't matter. Shit to do. But yeah, anyway, while we're here, as you can see, the level, magician level 1, cryomancer level 1, necromancer level 1, pyromancer level 1, witch level 2. These are the levels at which each of these classes and subclasses can learn the identify spell. And the duration is 1 turn per caster level. Now, it says in here, the ritual takes an hour to cast, and then each item you want to identify takes 1 turn, and you can do them in order, one after the other, with one time for as many CA levels that you have, your caster ability.
You know what I like about this spell compared to the D&D version?
What's that?
You can do it while adventuring.
Yes, as long as you have an hour.
Spend 8 hours.
Yeah, as long as you got an hour to sit, then you could do it anywhere.
And Cranso, I actually could see an argument for taking out the Cryomancer, Necromancer, and Pyromancer, and just having it the purview of the Magician and the Witch. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what he was thinking in this one. I don't think it's a problem, personally. I just don't. But at the same time, I can see why somebody could make an argument for all of them, or 1 or 2 of them, or...
Actually, the only one that has to be there is the Magician. Because I
think the Witch does too. I think it's pretty, the whole brewing and looking into She really looks into how things are built and how they work together. So yeah, I could see her having the identify spell as well. So the Magician and the Witch, they're the only ones that are locked in my eyes. I agree.
As having the spell. But let's do a random spell. Let's do Heat Metal.
Just tell me what page it's on.
182.
Okay, that's close.
Heat Metal. This one is only for the Pyromancer and the Druid at level 2, which makes sense. The Pyromancer specializes in fire, duh, and the Druid specializes in all things from nature. Guess where metal comes from?
Well, I would think elements.
Well, yeah, but metal. Guess where metal comes from?
I'm not Chinese. I don't believe in metal being an element.
Well, apparently
it's
Druids
not natural.
are Chinese. But this is very, very much like the AD&D version of the spell. For each round that you are affecting the metal, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter.
Wasn't it a cleric spell in AD&D?
No, I believe it was a wizard spell. I mean, clerics could have their own. I think they have their own version, maybe.
Was it? Okay.
But
I thought it was a cleric spell.
I almost never played cleric, and I remember having the spell. So okay. So each round it heats the metal, and the duration is 9 rounds. That means if you can concentrate on a specific piece of metal for 9 rounds, it will get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter until the 9th round happens. And if it persists for, likewise, is quick to cool. It persists for 9 rounds with metal treated thusly if in contact with skin.
Hey, guess how long it takes to put on to don and doff plate mail armor?
Oh God, that's a long time. It's
10 rounds.
10 rounds, yeah.
A coincidence?
No, it isn't. Because that's you hot. Now, I would say that if you want to cut the straps, you could do it faster. But you're basically ruining the armor for being worn.
Yep.
You can't wear it anymore until you get that repaired. But if you cut the straps, I would say you can get out in half the time.
It'd be in the player's handbook, Ravens. They're not the DMG.
Yep. But yeah, for every round it gets hotter and hotter. You take more and more damage every round that it is touching your skin. Great. Okay, that seems fair. And the Pyromancer and Druid are the ones that
What games do you play, Mar Hockman?
Why? What is he saying? Can you teleport it off of an ally? Wow, man. No, you can't. You can't. But that's a good idea. Well, no, that's a horrible idea. But it's you're in the right framework, because a Cryomancer who's on your team can cast a cold spell on your armor, or lower the temperature. There's a spell for that.
Is there an opposite of this?
There's not a direct opposite, but there is something that lowers ambient temperature. I would say that would assist you. That would cool the metal somewhat. Or if you are doused in water, that would cool the metal somewhat.
So I was looking for something real quickly here, because I thought it was in this chapter. It might be in a different chapter.
Like if we go back up to the table of contents for the spells, and we look at Cryomancer. Cryomancer, here we go. Chill touch. If you touch the hot armor, I would say that would help. Let's see. Freezing hands, same thing. I would say that would help.
I'd have to look at actually what the spell. I think hands is just burning hands. I don't know about that, but
Frost sphere, I would say that would help.
Again, I would have to read the. Well, here's cool metal. It's right there.
Which level? What level?
Level 2.
Level 2. Cool metal. There you go. Let's just skip to cool metal.
Okay, so yeah, tell me what page that's on.
Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We got all that.
Cool, man. I found it. Oh, I just passed it. Where the hell did it go?
There it is. Oh, page
Got it. On there.
1. Okay. All right.
So does it say that it can actually cold protection resistant to game harmful? Blah blah blah. Doesn't say. Now again, I'm not saying that the game master couldn't ruin this. I was just wondering if it's actually written in here, like, hey, if somebody does heat metal, this
freezes metallic objects to blistering temperatures for every CA level of this. It is the exact opposite of heat metal. So
Yep.
I would say it would cancel it out. It is literally the exact opposite. Lasts for 9 rounds.
But it's not identified as a reverse. And I wouldn't argue this either way. I'm just saying that if a game master said yes, that this cancels it out, I say cool. If a game master says no, it's not literally the reverse. It's a separate spell and says no. I'd be cool either way.
Okay, I would argue that the way it's set up and written is almost exactly it's even formatted the same as the heat metal spell.
Yeah.
You know, it has the same range. Okay.
I mean,
has the same duration.
I'm pretty confident that I would let it happen because you're wasting a spell slot, to do this anyway, just to save your friend or just to stop damage to your friend. I'm saying I could see it, a game master or referee. I got to use the right term here. Referee, going either way with it, and I wouldn't be mad, of course, unless it was me. Then I'd say it'd have to work.
They don't say it have to work because reasons and logic. But yeah, there you go. So, but also, if you could somehow conjure water and spray it at the guy's armor that's being heated, I would say that helps too. Because
Raven said we don't do first edition, we do second edition, and nobody can read that. It is really tiny.
I don't know what you're talking. What is he talking about?
He posted a message.
Where?
He sent as a direct message to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing because I see. Oh, third level. Call lightning. Call lightning. Well, if heat metal, that might be heat metal right there. If it is, then that's definitely a cleric spell or a druid spell because call lightning is a cleric spell for sure.
It is. Yes.
Either way. It's first edition, so it's like 3-point font.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's druid spell. Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically how spells work. There's a level you can learn it and cast it. There is a duration, there is range, and there is your Now, this is where your casting ability comes in. When I first saw fighting ability and casting ability, I thought casting ability would that the mechanic of this game would be you have to roll to hit someone with your spell. I mean,
oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because what do you do? What do you do with fighting ability?
Right, I get it.
Yeah, so casting ability, they format it the same. So I figured it had the same effect. No, your casting ability has nothing to do with hitting somebody's spell. Spells, just like AD&D, they just basically work. I mean, it as long as you're not stabbed by that stupid kobold or whatever with his dart, it's just going to work. Okay, it's going to work. Now they may resist it. They may have an anti-magic shell or some other nonsense that does it. Whatever, but it still happened and it still technically hit them.
Casting ability in this game gives corrects or fixes one of the most commonly complained about issues of Magic in first and second edition AD&D. I'll let you give what the secret is, but it corrects that by making it its own term. To some of us, it's unnecessary because we already understood the other terms, but this just out of the gate just negates it and says this is what you look at.
Yeah. Instead of your total level, determining the power of your spell, it's your casting ability that determines the power of your spell. So if you are a straight up caster, like a magician or a cleric or whatever, this follows your level 1 through 12, 1 through 12. But if you are a specialty class that also has other interests, say the warlock, then you're devoting a lot of your time to the martial arts, to fighting ability. So you are not going to be as good at casting. So your spells aren't going to have the power.
Well, if you remember in first and second edition, you had your character level and you had casting level. And casting level was different all over the place. So the casting level of a wizard is 5th level, but the casting level of a ranger, well, wouldn't even have spells then, would be like, second level. Or you get 3rd level spells at your 6th level of casting. You know, some of the verbiage was just weird. This just says, bam, casting level. Have it. It's right there in a chart. I like it. I mean, it's the same thing we all know. It's just, there you go, one chart for it instead of saying, okay, this means this and that means that.
Right. For example, it's got to have some kind of fireball here, right?
Yeah.
No, look, chain lightning. Let's just do chain lightning.
Oh,
fine.
Crap. What page?
That is page number 160.
By the way, while I'm here real quickly, what page is this? 166. Look at all these italicized spells. These are the ones that are reversible.
Yeah. But you have to memorize it as the reverse.
Yeah, that's the same as what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's the same as D&D. Okay, so chain lightning. Discharging from the fingertips of the sorcerer is an arcing bolt of lightning. It strikes a designated target for 1d6 hit points of damage per casting ability. So a CA 12 caster, it's 12d6 hit point damage bolt.
Which, for me, I love the balance between 1st edition D&D and 2nd edition D&D. And I also love, by the way, tangent here, they wrote it in one of the Forgotten Realms book where Elminster still threw a 20 hit die fireball, which in 2nd edition, it caps out at what? 10 die fireball. Yep. This one says, we're not capping it. It's just based on your casting ability.
Right.
So you can do 12 die fireball, and yet you're only, 12th level in this game.
Yeah, that's the max level, right? It's 12. So that's the best you can do. Now, of course, chain lightning, just like chain lightning from AD&D, it's every time it hops, you lose 1d6 or 1d of damage for every hop. Now, this one specifically states that the spell will jump to the nearest object, whether animate, inanimate, friend, foe, doesn't matter. So you got to be careful, very judicious in how you cast this. And this means that people can throw up defenses against you. You know, I would say if you shove a copper rod in the ground and the bolt hops to that, it will lose 3 dice because it will conduct a lot of more energy into the ground before it jumps to the next person.
Where you're coming at there. I think that gets too scientific.
I understand. I understand why a lot of people wouldn't want that because it can slow down the game and it's more science than it's necessary.
I might do it as like a one-time thing. Like if you remember, like how I loved it when people came up with these awesome ideas with their spells, but you knew they would become game breaking. So I'd be like, you know what? This time I'm letting you get by with that. That's a fucking awesome idea. Have some experience point. Don't do it again.
Yeah, there you go. You know, if someone thinks of that, it's like, wait a minute. Yep. If I shove this highly conductive thing into the ground, you know, and wouldn't the lightning be more attracted to that than me? Yes.
I mean, it's the exact lightning rod. I mean, it's the term.
It's the term lightning rod. So yes, if you jam a giant metal pole in the ground, that will jump to the rod first before you. Okay.
Well, unless you're in front.
Yeah. If you're directly in the path, then you know it's not going to like miss you. It's not a JFK magic bullet.
You're still grounded. You're still going to get it.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it'll hit that first, then you, and you'll end up taking less damage. Number one, because it hit that first and it lost at least 1d. But I would say no, it loses 3d because it is a literal lightning rod. Okay.
One of the things I like about how this spell is written up, because I'm reading it for the first time right now, by the way, is in AD&D, the good side of it is they kind of say what it is, it goes this far and bounces, but they don't exactly tell how. The good side of that is the fact that it allows game masters to make determinations, which I like. I like the power to be in the storyteller game master, you know, in conjunction with character common sense, right? Or player common sense, sorry.
Yeah.
On the flip side, this kind of gives like, okay, hold on. Because you know when those arguments come, there's no way it would bounce off the wall and then come to me when I'm standing over here, blah, 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 blah. No, right here, it says how it's going to bounce. So I do like that. You know, sometimes I think things get a little bit too rules lawyery, but this is one of those that I think needed to have it. And I'm reading this, I like it. I like the way it's written up. Especially when you get down to here and it says, bullet would strike all 7 orcs and then arc back to the caster.
That's how it works. I mean, it's going to be significantly diminished at that point, but it's still going to hurt a little bit. Here's another one. Chain lightning will continue to strike as many objects as the caster has CA levels. It can strike each target only once, and it will always stay within the range of the spell. So as long as you are outside the range of the spell or stepped out of it or whatever, you're fine.
So what is the range here? Range 240 feet. But Range is 240 feet, and then let me guess, does it go the same as it did? Okay, if this is written up like, and I'd have to look at it a little bit closer, but if it's written up like what first and second edition would be, it doesn't come out of your hands. It starts where you say it to. So say it to start. So in this case, it'd be 240 feet away from you. If it only goes 100 and some odd feet, you're safe. Tree 100 feet away. What the hell's the strikes designated target? Do you see a range in here?
The range, the initial range, 240 feet.
Oh, no, it does. No, I'm sorry. No, it discharges from the fingertips of the sorcerer.
Okay, so the sorcerer will definitely be in range.
Oh, damn.
The sorcerer, initially, the sorcerer will definitely be in range. But if what I want to read is will continue to strike as many levels. It can strike each target only once, and it will always stay within the range of the spell. If it strikes a large tree, iron rod, or other like attractor, the lightning will be diffused.
Well, there you go. It's not even -3 dice. It's just
no,
done.
it's just gone. Yeah. So if it's a large tree that has obviously deep roots, it will, or an iron rod stuck in the ground, it will just channel that all into the ground, and your spell's done.
So Ravenslayer is posting like the entire text of.
I know, what the hell, man.
Apparently, we needed to know that.
I don't need to know that text right now because that's a huge wall.
Well, it's going to be on there for the people to see.
Yep. If you want to read it, there it is. You can. All right. So yeah. So there you go. Like there's even science in it. Look at that. We got science.
There you go.
Large trees and lightning rods.
Take back what I said then. It wouldn't be a one-time use thing. It would be there every time. And well, so that means you now have to start walking around with a metal rod.
Well,
or a tree.
Well, what level are we talking here? Magician level 6, cryomancer level 6, and necromancer level 6. Those are the ones who can use chain lightning. Cryomancer.
Well, no, cryomancer does make sense because when you get into the base elements, considering that there are only 2, there's the pyromancer and the cryomancer. The cryomancer would most likely be water and air, where the pyromancer would most likely be maybe fire and air or fire and earth. Lightning is
but the necromancer, that's puzzling to me.
Are there any undead? Yeah, I don't know why.
There are undead, sure.
No, I mean, are there any undead that focus on lightning? Normal undead. I'm not talking like one-shot undeads written in a freaking dragon magazine.
Not that I recall. I mean, you think about it, like zombies, no. Skeletons, no.
Yeah.
Wraiths, no.
Ghosts,
wraiths, no.
Specters,
no.
Ghosts, vampires.
None of them have lightning abilities.
I mean, Lich, but that was already cast.
No, anyway. Yeah. That doesn't count because he was already cast or has the spell.
Mummies, they just rot you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't get it.
Maybe they just need another damage spell?
Yeah. When he wrote it, he was like, man, these guys got like 1 damage spell. I got to give him more. Okay, that doesn't make sense, but it's scary, right?
Until I actually get a character up to this high and can do things, I am not going to cry about how he designed his game.
Yeah, that's fine. Chain lightning's fine. Don't worry about it.
And as somebody who plays necromancers,
that's true.
Maybe just use a long sword spiked into the ground to block it if you don't like your sword anymore.
Yeah, if you want to break your sword or at least dull it very, very much.
Melt it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and if it's not, say, a 2-handed broad or bastard sword, it's going to melt.
One of the things that I absolutely despise in games, and so I'm glad he put it here, and it's kind of based on our discussion, is I really hate it when people get all like, no, the actual, when you have dew point combined with air pressure, and then this happens, and it really wouldn't melt this because it's got a density of 4 points. Shut up. It's magic. It melted your sword.
Get over it.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, I'm guilty of that sometimes as well, depending on what I'm playing, where it's like, no. In this one circumstance, the colors on the paint wouldn't run, or the coast of the paint wouldn't run because actually blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, shut the hell up. The spell is called Run Paint. It ran.
It did what the spell said. Shut up.
I know, right? Exactly.
There was a saving throw. It failed. Paint ran.
Right.
Shut up. All right, but that's basically magic. I mean,
there's one more thing I want to quickly talk about.
Okay, what is it?
I didn't see it at the beginning of this chapter, so it might be in a different chapter, but it's still related to the same thing.
What is it?
It's quick. It basically says, hey, players, you've got this character that can cast spells. It is your job to know what your spells do, not the referee's job. The referee has a lot of stuff to do and isn't going to memorize 300 spells that are in this book. Over the course of time, probably yes. But you need to know your spells and not look them up. So there's another reason why I like you only start with 3. What's that?
Just a lack of slowing down gameplay. That's you don't want. So that's what you know. So yeah, you only start with 3. So even out of the gate, any idiot can know what 3 spells do. I'm not saying you're an idiot.
Ravens are saying
I'm just saying you can do.
What I do?
Save versus lightning. Diablo 2 Necros have spells that fling bones at enemies. That's fair.
Okay, this isn't Diablo 2.
Yeah, it's in Diablo 2 though. But actually,
you can fling plague rats at people according to this one.
There you go, plague rats. Conjures forth 1d6 plague infested rats. That's beautiful.
All right, so next week, I want to scroll down.
Well, next is the
big one.
No. After this is not physical combat. It is transport and gear.
Oh, hirelings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna be hirelings and gear and encumbrance and all of the rules. And
do you traditionally use encumbrance?
I do.
Well, see, now that you don't use spellbooks, we use encumbrance. I'm the exact opposite. I use spellbooks, but I don't use encumbrance outside of common sense. I don't like micromanaging that I have 10 gold and that's another this and so forth. I use a generic encumbrance, but okay.
Yeah. I use encumbrance just because there's only so much you should be able to haul with you without taking.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Without
100%.
taking a hit. I mean,
I just like it to be generic though. Just like, you know what, you're trying to carry 3 backpacks. Even if those backpacks aren't full, they're still not. Have you ever tried to carry things that are just lopsided?
Yeah. Unwieldy is the word.
Yes.
Yeah, is the word of the day on that one. Yeah.
Discombobulated.
That's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so next we'll have adventure, time, movement, encounters, and then we'll see if we have time to start getting into combat. I don't know if we will. I mean, this isn't that much there.
No, it's not that much there, but encounter could be a long one. I don't expect the adventure, the time, the movement to take so much, but the encounter could be. I mean, it's only 2 pages, but we could have just a lot of stuff to talk about it. How it's different than D&D, I don't know. I haven't read it.
This is actually an area that I know pretty well because I made note cards on it, and
good for you.
It's not all that.
Oh, it's not?
No, the main thing about it is you move a lot slower in a dungeon. So you only move, was it 100? I have to look it up again, but you only move. What is the movement rate in this game? 40?
40.
But that 40 is over the course of 10 minutes or something like that. I might have the numbers exact.
I think I think that 40 is over the course of 1 minute.
You might be
outside.
Right. Anyway, the point is you actually move much slower, and the whole point is you're in a dungeon trying to see in the dark, trying not to trip over stuff, trying not to run into a gelatinous cube, which I don't even know if that's in this game, trying to not set off traps and find secret doors and so on and so forth. So you move a lot slower.
But I like it in hang on, no, that's next time.
Next week. Yep.
Next week. That's next week. There you go. So does anyone have anything they want to say about spells? How it works in this game, what you like, what you don't like about it, how it's the different or same than AD&D or second edition AD&D or whatever. Now's the time. Go ahead and throw it